Council, May 11th, and ask for a roll call.
Jacobson? Fanouken?
Here.
Lash?
Here.
Snow?
Here.
Naylor?
Here.
Baker? O'Leary?
Here.
Ray?
Here,
6 present.
thank you. I'll ask Officer Sullivan to come forward, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask you to please rise. Thank you. No public hearings this evening. Our first special items, we have two of our aldermen will be leaving the dais. First of all, I'd like to focus on Kristen Lash, who is at the conclusion of her first term as alderperson. Kristen, I've appreciated working with you the past 2+ years. Appreciate your contributions to the city in your role as alderperson. Do you wish to offer a comment at this point? The floor is yours.
Well, I did most of my comments the last meeting. Gave the new council a pretty hefty charge, especially as it comes to equality in our city code. And just encourage you to keep working on that. And I'm not going to disappear. I also, since he's here, and I didn't say it last time, I'm going to embarrass my husband and thank Jared so much for all of his patience and support and sharing his time with me with the city. Thank you.
Okay. Please join me in congratulating Kristen for her service to the city.
Thank you all so much.
Kristen, in recognition of your service, we have a street sign for you and a plaque. The City of DeKalb extends its sincere appreciation to Kristen Lash for her dedication and service to the citizens of DeKalb. Alderperson, Ward 3. Congratulations.
So,
And you need to, well, it's your choice. I have one more alderman to recognize. And then
I'll
we'll
stay up
do
here
the
for that.
swearing.
I just, I already asked Chief Hicks, I live on a corner, so he thought it probably wouldn't be a good idea to put this up on the corner, but, we'll find a place at home. Thank you so much, everyone.
The second recognition I have this evening is Alderman Ron Naylor. Ron is completing his second term as alderman in Ward 5. And I'd like to just recognize at this point Ron's service to the city of DeKalb, not only on city council, but as liaison to a number of city commissions and activities that are more or less behind the scenes. So at this point, I'll turn to Ron. If you choose to any comment, you're welcome to the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, yes, the 8 years, as I stated, I think the last time, last meeting up here has gone by really fast. It seems like it just a few days or so ago that it started out here. And I guess I'd just like to thank all of the constituents, all the residents out there in the 5th Ward in particular, as well as throughout the community that have assisted me over the past 8 years in various ways and with many emails, notes, comments, etc. out there. It's been a great privilege and an honor to serve. So thanks to everybody. And I too, like Kristen said, maybe off the council, but I'm not going to disappear. You'll still see me around. So thanks again. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate
Great.
it.
Join me in recognizing. In a plaque, the city of DeKalb extends its sincere appreciation to Ronald Naylor for his dedication and service to the citizens of DeKalb, Alderman, Ward 5. Ron? Thank you.
Thanks again, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to call Circuit Judge Brad Waller at this point to do the swearing in of Dave Jacobson as Alderman of Ward 1, and then we'll proceed with Michael Marquardt as Alderman of Ward 3, Kate Noreko, Alderman Ward 5, and Monica O'Leary as Alderman of Ward 7. Judge Waller.
You, Mr. Jacobson? Yes, sir. All right, if there's any friends or family members that would like to take pictures, feel free to come up. All right, raise your right hand, please. I, David Jacobson,
I, David Jacobson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman of Ward 1
of Alderman of Ward 1
in the city of DeKalb
in the city of DeKalb
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Michael Marquardt.
Raise your right hand, please. I, Michael Marquardt,
I, Michael Marquardt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman of Ward 3
of Alderman of Ward 3
in the city of DeKalb
in the city of DeKalb
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Kate Noreko, Alderman of Ward 5.
Okay, same routine. Raise your right hand for me. I, Kate Noreko,
I, Kate Dorico,
do solemnly swear
and do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman of Ward 5
of Alderman of Ward
in
5
the city of DeKalb
in the city of DeKalb
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Monica O'Leary, Ward 7.
Do you have it memorized? You just want to go ahead and do it? Raise your right hand, please.
Kate.
I, Monica O'Leary,
I, Monica O'Leary,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman of Ward 7
of Alderman of Ward 7
in the city of DeKalb
in the city of DeKalb
to the best of my
to the
abilities.
best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Welcome. Kate, well. Michael, welcome. Yeah. Our next recognition is outgoing City Clerk Marcia Swigert. I spoke with Marcia sometime after the holidays, at which time she agreed to serve the interim term as city clerk. I appreciate Marcia stepping forward and assuming that role, and Marcia has done an admirable job fulfilling that role of city clerk during this interim period. Marcia, if you could come forward, please. Marcia, I have a plaque to present. The City of DeKalb extends its sincere appreciation to Marcia Swigert for her dedication and service to the citizens of DeKalb as city clerk, January 26, 2015 to May 11, 2015. Thank you, Marcia. And if you want-
Thank you. Thanks, Marcia.
And I will next entertain a motion for the appointment of Suzanne Pepino as city clerk for a 2-year term or until her successor qualifies and takes office. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been
Second.
moved and seconded. I'll ask for all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. And I'll ask Circuit Judge Brad Waller to come forward for the swearing in of Susan Pepino as city clerk.
Susan or Suzanne? Suzanne, okay. Raise your right hand, please. I, Suzanne Pepino, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of city clerk
of city clerk
in the city of DeKalb
in the city of DeKalb
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Suzanne, welcome. Thank you. Okay, and thank you, Judge Waller, for serving in our swearing-in ceremony. We will have a brief reception at the conclusion of tonight's meeting for the outgoing alderpersons and the incoming council as well. But at this point, let me move to the proclamations. I do have several this evening. The month of May is Motorcycle Awareness Month, whereas the members of ABATE, a brotherhood aimed toward education, totally promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school driver's education programs and to the general public in our city and state. Whereas motorcycles are a common and economical means of transportation that reduce fuel consumption and road wear and contribute in a significant way to relief of traffic and parking congestion. Therefore, I, John A. Ray, Mayor of the City of DeKalb, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 as Motorcycle Awareness Month in the City of DeKalb and urge all motorists to join in an effort to promote and improve safety and awareness on our roadways. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the City of DeKalb, John A. Ray, Mayor. Is there anyone from ABATE to receive this? Okay, we'll forward that to the organization. The second proclamation is National Nursing Home Week, and I presented this proclamation this morning at Bethany Healthcare up on Bethany Road at a celebration that they did. Whereas the citizens of DeKalb and the surrounding northern Illinois area now residing in nursing homes and rehabilitation facilities have contributed immeasurably to the heritage, success, and growth of our community. And whereas nursing home residents of any age or ability are themselves living history and a precious resource, and whereas members of the nursing homes of the American Healthcare Association and Illinois Healthcare Association are holding events in observation of National Nursing Home Week, guided by this year's national theme of Bring on the Fiesta. Therefore, I, John Ray, as Mayor of the City of DeKalb, urge every citizen to honor the elderly and disabled residents of nursing homes by visiting or volunteering at a local nursing home to bring good cheer to the residents and appreciation to the staff who care for our most vulnerable citizens on our behalf. In witness thereof, I set my hand and cause the seal of DeKalb to be affixed this 11th day of May. John A. Ray. The next, and I'm not sure, I don't think anyone from Bethany planned to attend this evening. Proclamation National Police Week, May 10th through 16th, 2015. Whereas the members of the law enforcement agency of the city of DeKalb play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of DeKalb, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And therefore, I, John Ray, Mayor of the City of DeKalb, do hereby proclaim the week of May 10th through May 17th as National Police Week. I urge all citizens of DeKalb to honor those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. I affix my signature and the seal of the City of DeKalb this 11th day of May. Wes, would you come forward, please? Our Assistant Chief, Wes Hoadley, will receive the proclamation. Wes, thank you. The next proclamation is Bike to Work Day, May 15th, 2015. Whereas Bike to Work Day exists for the purpose of encouraging commuters and citizens to utilize bicycles in lieu of other means of transportation. And whereas Bike to Work Day is intended to raise the visibility of bicycling and to demonstrate the viability of bicycle-based transportation. And whereas by using bicycles more frequently, citizens of the city of DeKalb can improve their health, reduce stress, help prevent carbon-based emissions and related environmental concerns, reduce vehicle congestion, and improve the quality of their neighborhoods and communities. Therefore, be it resolved that I, John Ray, Mayor of the City of DeKalb, Illinois, do hereby proclaim May 15th to be Bike to Work Day in the City of DeKalb and encourage all citizens to participate in this opportunity to support the campaign by using bicycles for transportation and commuting on this and all other days. I set my hand and cause the seal of the City of DeKalb to be affixed this 11th day of May. Is there a representative from help me with the association?
Live Healthy DeKalb County and the DeKalb Park District.
Excellent. Live Healthy DeKalb County and DeKalb Park District. Thank you. The next proclamation is Emergency Medical Services Week, May 17th to the 23rd. Whereas emergency medical services providers are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others. And whereas citizens of the City of DeKalb benefit daily from the knowledge and skills of these highly trained individuals. Therefore, I, John Ray, Mayor of the City of DeKalb, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through May 24th as Emergency Medical Services Week within the City of DeKalb and encourage the community to observe the week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. In witness thereof, I affix my signature and the seal of the City of DeKalb this 11th day of May. Chief Hicks?
Mayor, accepting this award on behalf of the fire department will be the crew from Fire Station Number 2, which protects this facility.
Excellent. And the final proclamation this evening is National Public Works Week, May 17th through 23rd, 2015. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Therefore, I, John Ray, Mayor of the City of DeKalb, do hereby designate the week of May 17th through May 23rd as National Public Works Week, and encourage all citizens to join me in this worthy observance. In witness thereof, I attach my signature and City of DeKalb seal, 11th day of May. Mark, would you come forward, please? Mark Espy, our Streets Division Director. Okay, moving then to presentations, I'll ask Executive Director Maureen Garrity to come forward and present an annual report for Barb City Manor. Maureen?
Thank you. Good evening, and I'm so pleased to be here. Barb City Manor Retirement Home has been very fortunate to receive TIF funds to help with major capital projects to assist us in maintaining the historic DeKalb Public Hospital buildings. And this past year, we used the funds to have a steel liner fabricated and installed inside the boiler chimney. This is expected to reduce wear and tear on the brick and mortar chimney that happens due to condensation during the heating season. We are also preparing to re-roof 2 sections of the building this summer. These sections are 23 years old, and this work is necessary to maintain the integrity of the building. And on behalf of Barb City Manor's residents, I'd like to thank you for the City of DeKalb's continued support of Barb City Manor Retirement Home. Barb City Manor's mission is to provide an affordable, comfortable, and safe home for the senior citizens of our community. The support of the City of DeKalb and the use of TIF funds helps us to remain a viable option for these seniors. Thank you so much. Were there any questions?
Are there questions for Maureen? Maureen, how many residential rooms are available?
We have 62 apartments
62
altogether.
apartments in the facility.
Right.
Very good. Okay, thank you
Thank
for the
you.
work at Barb City.
Thank you.
And Jen Connolly, DeKalb Kish Health Hospice, FY15 Human Services Funding Annual Report. And Jen is music therapist with Kish Health Hospice.
Yes, I'm a music therapist and also do some backup social work for Kish
Excellent.
Health System Hospice. As most people know, hospice serves those who are terminally ill, who have a prognosis of 6 months or less. Our mission is to assist people to live with dignity and hope in ways that best meet their needs while coping with end-of-life issues, and to support grieving family and community members. We have a multidisciplinary team, which includes our medical staff, social work, bereavement, chaplain, music therapy, massage therapy, etc. We are funded by Medicare, Medicaid, and most insurances help with the hospice benefit, but not everybody is eligible or carries these. So we do accept any cases and have a charity fund and fundraisers, and also the support of the city helps us assist anybody in need with their end-of-life issues. We average about 275 patients or patients and families, because in hospice, the family is also the unit of care, the caregivers that we support. in their place of residence, be that a home, assisted living, a nursing home. The median length of stay is 11 to 14 days, and this is an organization that is in and of this community. It started in 1982. Our newsletter goes out to over 7,000 individuals or agencies. We have a volunteer base of around 340 people, and last year they totaled more than 4,700 volunteer hours. So we many outreach opportunities and individuals. Actually, just a very interesting research fact, people who enroll in hospice live an average of 29 days longer than if they had not been in hospice with a terminal illness. And that seems surprising, but the reason is that we flood them with this whole team. We also take them off of a lot of medications that they probably don't need and may have side effects that are difficult. And also we get them out of pain. So often there's a length of time where there's some quality of life for them to have with their family members. One quick thing that the health system is doing is an advanced care planning initiative. We're trying to reach out to the community to help people assist in getting their advanced directives, which helps. Anyone really over 18 should have these. It makes your wishes known in case you're unable to speak for yourself. Again, thank you for many years of support to Kish Health System Hospice.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Are there questions for Jen? Hearing none, thank you for your presentation. And next, I have Voluntary Action Center, Annual Report, Executive Director Tom Zucker.
Thank you, Mayor. City Council, thank you for the Human Service Funding Program. The program as a whole certainly is helping to provide very important services for some of our community's most vulnerable citizens, and those services as a whole are just invaluable to them. In our case, we're using human service funding to provide services under our transportation program and our nutrition program. In our transportation program, we are providing services to transit-dependent persons within the city of DeKalb, and providing the type of service that best meets those needs, which is our paratransit type services. These are rides that are prearranged by individuals, can accommodate all kinds of mobility impairments and disabilities. And we will take people to wherever they want to go, basically, within the community. A variety of community facilities and resources. Most of the rides we're providing, particularly with the human service funding, is for medical appointments and for shopping, although we'll take people anywhere that they may want to go. We're also using these funds to leverage state and federal grants that lets us provide even more services. And when we put that all together within our transportation program, we're able to leverage a state grant that has a 65% state to 35% local share. And when we capture that grant, we're able to use those state funds to leverage a federal grant that is a 50-50 matching share. And when we put it all together with about, again, a third of the human services funds that we receive, we're able to provide somewhere in excess of 5,000 rides to City of DeKalb residents. And that's out of a total of 151,000 rides that we provided to City of DeKalb residents last year, and are quite sure we'll hit those numbers again. About 2/3 of the funding we use in our nutrition program, specifically to provide Meals on Wheels services. And we've handed out a menu to you. Next year we could maybe actually bring you the meal, but that sort of gives you a feel for, well, I think that's a menu for the month of May, so you can see what we serve in the Meals on Wheels program. Meals on Wheels are home-delivered meals to persons that are homebound or otherwise isolated. We deliver in person a meal every day, Monday through Friday, for people in need of those meals. Sack suppers are available to individuals that may need those, as well as frozen meals to get someone through the weekend. So all those kinds of services are possible. The service also acts as a well-being check. I think many of you have helped us deliver Meals on Wheels, and if you have, you know that there's a procedure. When we go to deliver a meal, if the person doesn't answer the door, we don't just leave the meal, we don't just leave. There's a whole procedure our volunteers follow. Contact our offices. We then attempt to make a contact to emergency contacts that the person has left for us. If that fails, then we'll contact 911 to check on the person. So that value as well. Again, with the Meals on Wheels program, we're using human service funding to leverage federal grants and state grants. And when we put that sort of formula together, we've been able to provide over 9,000 Meals on Wheels to City of DeKalb residents. That was last year. We're sure we'll hit those numbers again. So again, thank you for the Human Service Funding Program. I would just quickly like to thank Alderman Fanouken, Mayor Ray, Anne Marie, and Patty for helping us last week with our Meals for Moms fundraiser. You all worked very hard. You helped us raise something in excess of $15,000 for the Meals on Wheels program. And Alderman Fanouken, even though you didn't repeat as the winner of the coveted Golden Apron Award, there's always next year.
My son will be crushed.
Tom, thank you
Any
for the
questions?
presentation. Are there questions of Tom this evening? Seeing none, thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation. Okay, I do have two appointments before council this evening. The first is the appointment of Cameron Zelaya to fill a vacancy on Human Relations Commission for a term of 2 years from May 1st, 2015 through April 30th, 2017. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion to approve the appointment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. And secondly, I would entertain a motion for the appointment of Finance Director Kathy Haley to the Police Pension Board for a term of 2 years from May 1st, 2015 through April 30th, 2017. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Carried. Okay. Are there any citizens wishing to speak? I've got a number of speaker requests for item G2, as we'll come to later in the agenda, but at this point, I would just ask if there's anyone wanting to speak to an item that's not on the agenda. Okay? Seeing none, I'll move on to the consent agenda and ask for a motion to approve. Well, I'm assuming no one wants to remove items from consent. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. I'll ask for a roll call.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markwart,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Noriko,
Yes.
O'Leary,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items listed on the consent agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. I'll ask for a roll call.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markwart,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Noriko,
Yes.
O'Leary,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. Motion carried. Okay, moving to items for separate action, we have ordinance 2015-21 approving a special use permit for a cellular communications tower at 1472 Barber Green Road. And this item is before us at second reading. So I would entertain a motion to pass ordinance 2015-21. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. City Manager?
Community Development Director Ellen DeVita is there. She can either give a short presentation or answer any questions you might have since this is second reading.
Okay. Ellen, this is a co-location
It
cell
is.
antenna?
It's an existing tower, and, is this microphone on? There, I hear it. They're going to increase the intensity of the use by adding more equipment at the ground level and then co-location on the tower. So the conditions that the Planning and Zoning Commission asked for were to pave the gravel portion. New equipment should match the color of the structure and be a neutral color. And we asked for landscaping on all four sides. There's one side where they can't put landscaping, so Derek has talked to them about fencing, which is sufficient. It'll provide the screening that's desired.
Okay.
So we're comfortable with the recommendation. Okay?
And as noted, this motion is before us on second reading. There was discussion at our last meeting. Is there further discussion this evening? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call then.
Marquardt?
Yes.
Snow?
Yes.
Norako?
Yes.
Baker? O'Leary?
Yes.
Jacobson?
Yes.
Fanouken?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Motion carried. The next ordinance we have printed on the agenda, the agenda was printed on Thursday, was issued Wednesday, I believe, May 6th. Subsequent to that, we've had a request from the applicant to withdraw the application. Attorney Frieders, could you clarify for us?
Yes, Mayor. This is before you, it was before you originally on a special use permit to erect a new communications tower on South 7th Street. The process has gone through an extensive public hearing and has received a significant amount of feedback. The applicant has been exploring co-location possibilities on an existing, the iron tower that is there, the microwave tower. At this point, they are seeking to withdraw their permit application for a special use permit. That would terminate the special use permit application process. If they later sought to apply for a special use permit, they would have to reapply. The public would receive additional notices. It would go through the entire process from start to finish, including the pre-application meetings and the co-location protocol. The staff recommendation is to simply accept that withdrawal and not act on their application as either an approval or a denial. We have spoken with the petitioner. They are one of the parties that is registered for public comment tonight. They've indicated to us that if the council's intent is to simply accept their withdrawal, that they would not be addressing the council this evening. We also, a significant amount of the public feedback that has been received regarding this project has been concerns from area residents who have voiced opposition to the project. And we believe it is likely that withdrawal of the application and termination of this process would alleviate those concerns.
Okay. At this point, I would ask, is there a motion to accept the petitioner's request for a special use permit for a new cell tower at 1300 South 7th Street? Is there a motion?
As staff, again, we would recommend just accepting their withdrawal of the permit application.
So no, but would
If you
we
wish to
need
do that by
counsel?
motion, I would suggest that the motion be a motion to approve their withdrawal of the permit application.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the withdrawal?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Noriko
Second.
and seconded by Alderman Snow. I'll ask for a voice vote. Roll call, I'm sorry.
Snow?
Yes.
Noriko?
Yes.
O'Leary?
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markwhite,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. Motion carried. And with that action, I assume, Mr. Riley, do you wish to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We do have Deanne Hamilton wishing to speak on this. Deanne?
And again, for the record, the action that was just taken terminates the proceeding. It is no longer before the Plan Commission or the council. There is not at this point any application or any plan that the tower would come forward again.
Okay. Just so that it's understood, do you wish to speak, Deanne?
Yes.
Come to the podium, please.
My name is Deanne Hamilton White, and I've been a homeowner on Spring Avenue for over 30 years. And that's over 30 years of property taxes that have been paid. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak. The action that just occurred has necessitated or no longer need to speak on some of the issues, but there is something that I do want to say. As a property owner and someone with a long-term personal economic interest in this issue, I'd like to start by expressing my disappointment in the fact that the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission, who has a business relationship with the petitioner, did not voluntarily recuse himself from this process until this relationship was brought to the commission's attention, and he was subsequently urged to recuse himself by Mayor Ray. This business relationship clearly creates a perception of a conflict of interest, and the chairman's failure to do this at the first meeting in November 2014 creates a foundation of mistrust. This is wrong and isn't what credible city government should allow. I am especially disappointed that a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission personally verbally attacked a resident who spoke out against this perceived conflict of interest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Deanne. Linda Liston, do you wish to speak? Would Linda come to the podium, please? I may have that last, I think I'm reading it correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm Linda Liston. I'm a homeowner on the south side of DeKalb for over 25 years. And I just want to state for the record that I am very relieved that this application for a special use permit has been withdrawn. As a member of the public community, I wish to express my disappointment in how these meetings were handled from the November meeting through the last meeting when Mr. Riley, who had requested a 60-day extension, failed to show up and failed to let the commission know why he did not show up. This has been a very, it's taken a lot of work and effort on the part of the concerned citizens, and it has left one with sort of a bad taste in one's mouth for the way that this was overall handled. However, I am very grateful for the ultimate result and feel that the commission did the right thing, and I really appreciate the vote that you just took that supported that.
Thank you, Linda. David Lehman.
Good evening, Mayor Ray, City Council members, both new and returning, city staff, fellow citizens, and reporters. I'm Dave Lehman, and I've lived at 621 Karen Avenue since 1979. Many of the local residents in the South Street area of DeKalb have signed a petition, and many attended the Planning and Zoning Commission meetings in opposition to the new proposed cell tower. We concur with the unanimous April decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission to deny the special use permit, and I have to alter some of my comments based on the surprise that we received just before the meeting. So we respectfully voice the position to the City Council and the Mayor. On behalf of myself and many of my neighboring residents, I was going to present to the City Council three reasons why Central States Tower's request for a special use permit should be denied. I would like to continue because, as I understand, there are numerous other cell tower requests that will be coming before the city. It was the November 12th when I attended my first Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this meeting, Central States Tower sent their site acquisition agent, Mike Duchamp, who had already signed a 50-year lease with a local property owner, Mr. James Hovis, one of whose renters is Michael Welsh, the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. All Central States Tower needed was the special use permit, and the new cell tower would already be built. At the meeting, we heard Central States Tower representative Mike Duchamp state, quote, "To be honest, compared to other municipalities, your code is kind of vague on some things and subject to interpretation," unquote. Two of the reasons this special use permit should be denied relate to the Unified Development Ordinance, and the third reason, a violation of the Chapter 21 of the City of DeKalb's Municipal Code, which details the Planning and Zoning Commission and its Code of Ethics. First, Central States Tower special use permit request violates two articles in the City of DeKalb Unified Development Ordinance. Unified Development Ordinance Article 14.03 indicates that all requirements for special use permits must be met by the petitioner. The Unified Development Ordinance Article 14.12 permit denial states clearly, quote, "Application for any of the permits listed herein shall be denied if it does not comply with the applicable code or this ordinance," unquote. What are the applicable codes in the ordinance for the construction of a new cellular tower? They're found in the Municipal Code, Chapter 23, Unified Development Ordinance under Special Use Permits. Article 7, Supplemental District Regulations. Article 7.08.09, the Wireless Communications Ordinance, presents the requirements to be met by the petitioner prior to the issuance of a special use permit for the construction of a new cell tower. The purpose of this ordinance is to ensure that new tower construction is minimized, as towers supporting antennas are an unsightly, undesirable feature in residential districts. Other site options will be fully explored, which could locate the antennas on existing structures wherever possible. The petitioner is required to meet with the city staff to discuss and determine all options in a pre-application conference before the petitioner would determine the site of a new tower. Item number 2 of the Wireless Communications Ordinance states clearly that a pre-application conference is required by the petitioner, in this case, Central States Tower with the city. On the official, completed, signed, dated, and notarized special use permit petition submitted by Central States Tower to the City of DeKalb in August of 2014, in item number 3 of the form, quote, "The petitioner hereby states that a pre-application conference was not held with city staff prior to the submittal of this application," unquote. As stated in 7.08.09 of the code, this pre-application conference is a code requirement which Central States Tower failed to meet. The undisputed, documented failure by Central States Tower to hold a pre-application conference with the city mandates denial of the request for a special use permit. Attorney Robert Riley of Central States Tower showed up, admittedly unprepared, at the third continuance of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on February 11th. In his introductory remarks, Attorney Riley from Chesterton, Indiana stated, quote, "I represent Central States Tower in this matter. I just learned of it early this afternoon," unquote. He stated he was not aware that Central States Tower did not have the required pre-application meeting and could offer no explanation, stating, quote, I don't know why it wasn't done in this case, unquote, and instead his apology for Central States Tower's noncompliance with this requirement. 2, the second failed requirement by Central States Tower in the Unified Development Ordinance is Article 7.08.08, item number 11, which states, quote, "This co-location protocol has been established to increase the likelihood that all reasonable opportunities for co-location have been investigated," unquote. The co-location protocol is a necessary requirement to be completed before selecting a site and granting a special use permit for the construction of a new cell tower. It is important to note that Central States Tower's business is building new towers, not co-location on other structures. When asked in December what percentage of Central States Tower business involves co-location on structures not owned or operated by Central States Tower, the petitioner's representative, Mr. Duchamp, chose not to answer. Nowhere on Central States Tower's website is any mention of co-location on existing structures not owned or operated by Central States Tower. There are structures in the South 7th Street area which can and do support cellular antennas. The Taylor Street high-rise has 4 wireless platforms on the roof. These platforms are owned by U.S. Cellular, Cricket, Sprint, and T-Mobile. There's a Blackwater Tower at the east end of Taylor Street on the site of the former Del Monte Canning facility. And there is the 300-foot AT&T Tower at 1400 South 7th Street, less than 500 feet from the petitioner's special use permit request to build a new structure. On November 12th, Central States Tower Representative Mike Duchamp claimed he had repeatedly attempted to contact AT&T to inquire about co-location. But AT&T was non-responsive, not interested in co-location, nor even had a mechanism to process applications. In fact, he repeatedly assured us Central States Tower knew that co-location on the AT&T tower was impossible, and that if for no other reason, there was not sufficient space for the ground equipment shed to be located anywhere on the 6.24-acre AT&T site. That evening, I found that AT&T does, in fact, have a mechanism to process co-location applications, and it's right on the homepage of the AT&T Tower's website. When informed that Central States Tower needed to further investigate co-location on the AT&T Tower, Central States Tower unethically chose to request a letter from AT&T stating that co-location was not possible. AT&T would not comply and repeatedly advised that the formal co-location process be initiated. By the December 10th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Mr. Duchamp had emailed the city stating the previously mentioned Taylor Street high-rise, with 4 wireless platforms already in place, was not an option. Quoting Mr. Duchamp, "There's no room at the inn." Mr. Brian Allen, property manager for the high-rise, told me last Thursday afternoon that there is ample space on 3 of the 4 platforms atop the high-rise to position additional antennas. All that is necessary is for the petitioner to contact Mr. Allen, and he will initiate the process with the available carriers. So it is clear, Central States Tower did not conduct the co-location protocol as required in the Unified Development Ordinance, Article 7.08.08, Item 11. Failure to meet the co-location feasibility study requires denial of the request for the special use permit. Furthermore, Central States Tower attempted to sidestep this requirement by initially claiming AT&T had no interest or mechanism to process applications. In February, however, Attorney Riley informed us of AT&T's co-location process. Quote, "A company like AT&T, they have rigid protocols, and that's because they handle co-locations by the thousands all across the country. So it's become a very formalized process, unquote. Central States Tower representatives have given us both misleading and contradictory information. 3, during the extended continuance of the Planning and Zoning Commission's consideration of this request, it was discovered and disclosed in December that the Planning and Zoning Commission chairman is renting space in the petitioner's building on the site of the proposed new cell tower. This violation of the city's code of ethics required immediate recusement by the chairman back in November, rather than serving as chairman and commissioner for the November, December, and February Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. Central States Tower Representative Attorney Robert Riley judged the Planning and Zoning Commission's chair serving at these hearings as perfectly acceptable. Attorney Riley stated, quote, "If it was a direct conflict like that, yes, I would expect someone to recuse themselves. But in this situation, as a lawyer, I see absolutely no conflict of interest or perception," unquote. It is clearly stated in the Code of Ethics that the possible public perception of a conflict of interest is all that is required for a commissioner to recuse himself or herself. The petitioner, Central States Tower, has sent representatives to DeKalb who claimed, as Mr. Duchamp did in November, quote, "To be honest, compared to other municipalities, your code is kind of vague on some things and subject to interpretation," unquote. We do not find our municipal code or code of ethics to be kind of vague in this matter at all. In fact, they are very specific, and if followed, will result in a denial by the City Council of this special use permit request.
Which has been withdrawn.
Yes, I
Thank you.
understand. Thank you. The integrity and the public trust in the elected and appointed officials of the City of DeKalb is of paramount importance. Based on the noncompliance with city codes and questionable business practices displayed by Central States Tower, it would have been a dishonor if the City Council would have approved this special use permit. Thank you very much.
William Elecno, do you wish to speak?
I'm not going to speak.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Okay, moving to the next item then, ordinance 2015-25, approving a special use permit for a fast food restaurant at 913 West Lincoln Highway, Burger King. And this is before us at first reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? I'll turn to Community Development Director DeVita.
Good evening. I'd like to point out that in the rear, you've grown, John. John Kaiser is with us. He's the VP of Development and Facilities for Cave Enterprises, and with him is Brenda Finn, who is the district manager and manages our local Burger King. I learned tonight that our Burger King is known as store number 255. We are the 255th Burger King ever built in the country. So, and they're ready to renovate and expand the facility and renew it. So I think it's a good investment for the city. They have gone before the Planning and Zoning Commission. They would like to add an additional 3,000 square feet in the dining room area, and they will put in significant landscaping, new signage, and I have to note we are awaiting a new site plan. The property was bought by Cave Enterprises late last year, and they have a private agreement with the Glidden Homestead, who owns the property to the west, and they will be putting in some landscaping. And this will not affect the building envelope. They may lose a parking space or two, and will adjust the internal seating as needed, and that was noted in the minutes from the Plan and Zoning Commission. So I'd like to ask the council to approve. I recommend that you approve the request before you tonight, with the addition in your amendment that the final site plan be approved by community development staff. It is a minor improvement, and they will be able to meet all zoning code. The petitioner has also asked for a second asked you to waive the second reading tonight. They submitted for their building permit last week, and it's under review, and they'd like to get moving on the project. We don't see any problems with it. And if you have any questions, John and Brenda are here.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions from council? Alderman Noriko.
Ellen, I recall that there was mention about concern about the sound level with the drive-up.
No, I'm going to ask John to come up and address that. That was discussed with Derek and agreement was brought to Derek Highland's satisfaction on that.
And as the petitioner is approaching, in the special use permit ordinance, subsection 6 of it indicates that they have to comply with all applicable city ordinances. We have ordinances that regulate both the decibel levels at the property line and beyond, and also ordinances that regulate the use of a business in a fashion that generates essentially disorderly conduct, a disorderly business ordinance. So if it alarms or disturbs the occupants of surrounding properties, it would apply under that ordinance. If they exceed the state standards on decibels at the property line, we have a separate ordinance that addresses that. So they would be required to comply with both of those.
Yes, thank you for your question, Alderman. We did do a decibel reading out there. I think it was a couple days before the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and we did discuss this with the staff there. There was very high winds during that reading. That was just a very windy day. The measurement was 82 decibels, which is about equivalent to a dial tone on a telephone. But because of the high winds and uncertainty around the sound during the measurement, we did discuss with staff that we would take another reading and we would ensure that the new system has a setback so that you can go from the typical sound reading, excuse me, and dial it down to like a lower level. So we were going to look at that. We're also putting a solid fence, a wood fence in the back of the property. So, we would take every precaution to ensure that we are meeting the right decibel level.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other discussion? I'd like to ask the city attorney, does the ordinance language before us adequately deal with the site plan issue that Director DeVita alluded to?
It does not, so I would offer two recommendations. If you are seeking to waive second reading on this tonight, when you get to that point, I can frame a motion for you that would address Director DeVita's concern. If you're not seeking to waive second reading tonight, we would propose to either have the revised staff plan or provide that as a revised motion with second reading. Again, the petitioner has submitted a full building permit application and is requesting waiver of second.
Okay. So at this point, the motion before us is to receive and file. And I'll ask, is there further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call on the first reading.
Noriko,
Yes.
O'Leary,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markwart,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes,
7-0.
thank you. Motion carried. And as noted, the petitioner has requested waiving of second reading and passage this evening.
If there is a motion, the suggested staff motion would be a motion to waive second reading and approve the ordinance, subject to the addition of a condition that the site plan, the revised site plan be approved and, or submitted and approved by the community development staff.
Okay.
So
Alderman
moved.
Fanouken, it has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call then on the motion.
O'Leary,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markwart,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Noriko,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes,
7-0.
motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance 2015-26, amending Chapter 40, Fire Insurance Tax pertaining to fire insurance tax. And this is before us in first reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. City Manager Gore.
I'll turn it straight over to City Attorney Dean Frieders.
Thank you.
The city, by virtue of Illinois state law, is able to collect a foreign fire insurance tax. That is something that the Illinois Municipal Code contemplates that we shall collect. The proceeds of that are used for the benefit of the fire department. The method by which those are spent, or the determination of how they're spent, is entirely up to the Foreign Fire Insurance Board, and the composition of that board is established by state law. We do not have the ability to change the composition of that board. It's elected essentially from the members of the fire department. The existing city code doesn't exactly track with the state statute. It contemplates greater city involvement in the process than we really have the ability. It also contemplates greater commingling of the city's assets with the foreign fire insurance assets. In working with your Finance Director Haley, we've identified some best management practices for how the proceeds should be handled, and we're proposing a revision of the ordinance that shortens it and essentially says we're relying on the state statute with regard to how the board is comprised, and that has provisions in it with regard to the revised method by which the finances would be held. Essentially, the board would be bringing forward what they're proposing to spend. It would still be included in our budget, but the board would maintain its own bank account, and it would maintain those funds separately in its bank account and would provide reports to the city on what the funds are spent on and what the assets in the bank account are used for, which more narrowly tracks with, again, the state statute and the best management practices.
Okay. Questions? Alderman Fanouken.
Yeah, Counselor, could you remind us all what the foreign fire tax is?
The foreign fire tax is a tax that is levied upon the proceeds of fire insurance policies sold across the state of Illinois. So it is a tax that is required under the Illinois Municipal Code.
Okay, and the term foreign, though, why is it called that? Just remind me, please. Just because it's not just within the city, or?
It's a tax that's due on all policies regardless of where they originate. So if you're an out-of-state policy writer, it's still applicable to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call.
O'Leary,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markwart,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Noriko,
Yes.
Baker's, Ray,
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. Motion carried. Okay, moving to communications for the newly seated council members. This area will just poll the council. If anyone has a comment, they're welcome to present that at this time. Alderman Jacobson.
Good luck to the new members. Welcome to the dais, and we have lots of work to do.
Alderman Fanouken.
I want to thank Alderperson Kristen and Ron Naylor for their service. And again, to welcome Mike and Kate to our select company.
Thank you. Alderman Markwart.
Just like to say thank you to all the aldermen for being welcoming, and also to the staff for all of their assistance. And we will work on, I'll get some coffee up here, and then the meetings will go better.
Alderman Snow.
No report.
Alderman Noriko.
I want to thank my family and friends who supported me. They're the reason that I'm sitting up here now. I'm looking forward to working with the council as well as city staff on improving the quality of life for all of DeKalb citizens.
Thank you. Alderman O'Leary.
I would like to say welcome to the new alderman.
Thank you. I would note that I presented to council recommendation 2 appointments. I appreciate your support with that, 2 city commissions. I would note that I am in the process of reviewing all city commissions that are currently in existence. My intent would be by July 1st to have any revision to that commission structure having been presented and in front of council, ready for implementation in that July 1st timeframe with the new fiscal year. So I would just note that the commission structure is under review, and I'll be addressing that over these upcoming weeks. City Manager Gora?
Thank you very much, Mayor. I might be stealing Finance Director Haley's thunder, but just as a reminder, we have the joint City Council Finance Advisory Committee meetings, 2 this week, 1 tomorrow, and the next one on Saturday. So when we go further down the line, I'll ask Director Haley to give an overview as to what items are being reviewed at those meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney?
I'd like to echo some of the comments of our aldermen, thanking the aldermen that are leaving service today for all of their efforts, and looking forward to working with our new aldermen as they join the team.
Thank you. City Clerk Pepino?
No comment.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager?
Again, as mentioned at the last city council meeting, I'm very grateful for all the dedication from Alderperson Lash and Alderman Naylor. And I am very excited and looking forward with working with the new city council. And yes, we do have a lot of work to do, but we are ready to get started.
Thank you. Assistant Chief Hoadley?
Well, if Chief Lowry was here, he'd probably say something of wisdom, but since I'm not Chief Lowry, I won't do that. I also, on behalf of the police department, I want to thank Alderman Lash and Ron here. I've known Ron for a long time, but I want to thank him for all his support. I've worked with his wife a few times, and I really consider them friends. So I want to thank that, and welcome aboard. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Haley?
I'll just elaborate on city manager's budget discussions. First of those 3 meetings is tomorrow night at 5 o'clock in this room. We'll be talking about the general fund primarily that night. Saturday, it starts at 8:30, hopefully 8:30 to noon. We'll be going into capital discussions, water, airport, if there's time. And then the final budget meeting will be the following Wednesday, the 20th, and that will be more geared towards TIF, and we'll be talking on some financial policies and the purchasing manual. So,
Thank you. Chief Hicks?
On behalf of the fire department, I'd like to thank Alderman Naylor and Alderwoman Lash for their service to the city, and welcome the new incoming alderman. Thank you.
Thank you. Director DeVita?
With spring, we're seeing an increase in activity in the building department. We've actually had a lot of activity. Contractor renewal license are underway, and so we remind people if you're going to be hiring someone, you might want to check and make sure that they are licensed to do their work. And here in the city, we check that they're bonded and they have insurance. And with the new website, Brenda and I were talking today, we'll be posting these lists online to make it easy for folks to look them up and see if the contractor is licensed. And she does about 400 license renewals every year. We've actually released 2 permits for new homes. We're excited for that activity. And Oakcrest has received their foundation and footing permit. And then Saturday, over the weekend, Jamie Smurs, with her partnership through Lowe's, they purchased paint, and there's a volunteer crew that's going to be doing minor painting throughout the community. She also was able to help Chief Hicks. We've had an inquiry for a potential ramp, and she does have some funds available to qualifying households for people. So if you're in doubt and you think you might qualify, give Jamie Smurs a call in community development.
Excellent.
And everyone's reminded to mow their grass. It's growing. Okay.
Manager Espy?
Just like to thank the outgoing aldermen for their service to the city of DeKalb and welcoming the new people, and look forward to working with all of you.
Okay. Would ask, or just a reminder, council members, please forward to Director DeVita any questions that you have on the draft budget that's before us, giving her an opportunity to research any of those questions before our meeting tomorrow evening.
Haley.
I'm sorry, Haley, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Ellen shaking her head over there like, we don't call
Ellen doesn't want those questions. I apologize. And please join us. We have an informal reception at the end of council meeting this evening, welcoming our new council members and acknowledging our outgoing council members. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Thank you. Join us for coffee and cookies.